Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from Elderberry16924 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and it says, am I the arsehole for leaving my bachelorette party because my friends hired strippers? Hello. I know the title might sound dumb, but please bear with me. So, I'm 31 female, getting married on January, but my best friend 30 female is going to be gone for most of the month, only being able to come back for my wedding, so my friends decided to just throw my bachelorette party yesterday to get it out of the way. I was very specific about not wanting strippers because knowing them, I knew they would do it just to prank me. They agreed and made all the arrangements, and yesterday we went to a little venue they rent and everything was good. We were having fun, playing games, drinking and so on. Around midnight, my best friend said, "Oh, the delivery is here," and I didn't think much about it because I thought it was food or something. But nope, two men came in with her and the music changed and they said something I didn't really hear and started dancing. How to escape the situation? But they got closer to me and one of them grabbed my hand and made me touch his abs, I guess, his torso. And he was all sweaty and that grossed me out because I hate sweat. I didn't even grab my dad's hand when I was a kid if he was sweaty. So I yanked my hand and said, "Wait, let me go to the bathroom first. I'll come back," prepare, and left to the bathroom. They cheered but were so busy entertaining themselves with the strippers they didn't realize I was literally gone. Well, today I woke up to very angry voicemails and texts about not appreciating the effort and money they spent and how I'm a bad friend for abandoning them. I agreed to take two girls home, but when I left in a hurry, I forgot. And my best friend sent me a very long text saying she is hurt and disappointed and she doesn't know if she could come to my wedding if I don't apologize because obviously I don't consider her feelings when I run away without saying anything because she leaves today and I didn't even say bye. I understand that they might be mad, but I feel like I made myself clear when I said no strippers. I don't know if they thought I was kidding or being uptight. My fiance is glad that I left because we agreed on no strippers or anything similar. My sister is on my side, but I basically made half my wedding party mad, and I don't know if I should just apologize to keep the peace because my wedding is literally next month. Or my second option is to tell them to go fuck themselves, which I want to do, but I'm still angry. And that would possibly ruin my friendships. So am I the arsehole here? What should I do? So the first commenter said to OP, quoting, "I was very specific about not wanting strippers. My fiance is glad that I left because we agreed on no strippers," and then says, "It was your bachelorette and you made clear boundaries beforehand. You also honored an agreement to your fiance. Not the arsehole and good for you." Silk Temptation says, "I totally agree with this. That night was about you and they should have given you that much honor. What they did was really selfish." Maverick says, "Not the arsehole. You said no and she went and did something else, so she should be mad at herself. You gave boundaries and she didn't respect it." Curious by Moon says, "Ask them why they booked strippers when you had specifically told them no strippers. They planned something you did not want and are now complaining about the cost and you're leaving. There is no apology due from you but your friends. And I say this in the loosest sense, should be embarrassed and apologizing to you. You did not shout or tell everyone the night is over. You simply left so they could enjoy the act that they booked. I suspect they wanted the strippers in the first place. Explain to the two you were giving a lift to all this, and if they wanted to send you the receipt of their taxi/Uber journey back, you will reimburse them. You have nothing to feel sorry for. If you were vegetarian, would you eat the hog roast they booked? No. Your feelings and boundaries were clearly laid out, and they trampled over the first and ignored the second." It says no one's an arsehole here, but I would have thought it had been not the arsehole. Now, I'm just jumping on something completely different here, just for the sake of it, because the first paragraph made me feel some kind of way. It might be just the way it was written, I may be reading too much into it, but the first part where it said the best friend's going to be gone for a month only, and so the friends decided to just throw your bachelorette yesterday just to get it out of the way. I was like, that doesn't sound very jolly. But I'm with some of these comments on this one, that they just wanted the strippers for themselves and they were just using a bachelorette as an excuse. And they were being manipulative in this situation at the same time. They ignored your boundary and then turned it around on you at the same time and making you be the bad guy in this situation because you're not grateful for something that you asked specifically not to be there. And then the best friend in the end of this threatening to skip your wedding unless you apologize to her. Yeah, let her skip your wedding. That's no friend. In this to me, you didn't make a scene. You didn't ruin their fun with the strippers, which they clearly wanted, by the way. You just removed yourself from the situation. And I think you should simply just say something to them. Like, I told you from the beginning, I wanted no strippers. You chose to ignore that. And I'm disappointed you all chose otherwise. Simple as. I think it's one of those situations you have to remember this was their choices. But it was nearly a week later that OP came back in with their update and said, I wasn't expecting to be back so soon, but everything kind of resolved already, so why not? To clarify some things, some people told me not to tell my fiance, but I literally told him the same day because he was awake waiting for me to come home, as he always does when I go out with friends. My best friend was never my maid of honor. That's my older sister. She was a bridesmaid though, and people who told me to offer to reimburse for the two girls' Uber. Why? Anyway, I don't remember if I gave my ex-best friend the fake name, but let's call her Jenny or else I'll get confused. I sent a long text in the group chat explaining how disappointed and angry I was for their actions, that they could have jeopardized my wedding and my relationship with their little stunt. I also clarified I wasn't going to apologize for leaving a situation where I didn't feel safe nor good being there. I told him I didn't care if they apologized anymore because they were all uninvited from the wedding anyway. And they clearly didn't care about me or what I wanted because the party was obviously for them and not me. I also, after talking to my fiance, decided to message the SO of my friends to let them know what happened. My fiance said it was the right thing to do because who knows what they did with those strippers. I turned off my phone after I sent both messages, to the group chat and the SO of my friends, and went about my day. I turned on the next morning and found hundreds of messages from everyone. Some apologizing, others calling me dramatic, and after a couple of hours just them cursing on me for telling their partners about it because all of them lied apparently. Jenny's husband called me too and then left a message to call him back as soon as I can, and I did. He picked up almost immediately and he asked about details. I explained everything I knew and he thanked me and told me he'd let the rest know. I found out after reading some of the messages that the two girls that were supposed to ride with me were given a different version of what happened at the Bachelorette party. One of them said that Jenny told them that the stripper was supposed to be a comedian acting like a stripper, but it would be like the scene from the movie The Proposed. I called her and she gave me more details about that, and she said if she knew what they were planning, she would have told me because as a married woman she didn't agree with that too. She said her and the other girl took an Uber home right away. And she said she didn't even knew I left as well. I apologized for assuming she knew as well, and she apologized for not saying anything before, so I invited them back to the wedding. With my fiance, we decided to eliminate all wedding party except for my maid of honor, my older sister, and his best man, his younger brother. And I told the two of my friends that they were invited again but only as guests, and they accepted it with no drama. Yesterday, Jenny's husband called back and told me that he had some juicy gossip I wanted to hear, and obviously said yes. Apparently these strippers were not real strippers. They were Jenny's youngest brother's college roommates and they were only 19 and 21. And the brother didn't know about any of it until one of the roommates bragged about Jenny giving him a BJ. The husband said he doesn't even know if he can stay and work things out with her after all this, but they also have two small children and he doesn't want to break their family. I told him I understand and that me and my fiance would be there for him if he needs anything. He's also invited to the wedding. And I think that's it. It was kinda long. Sorry about that. My fiance and me are as good as always and the wedding is still scheduled for late January, so everything's good. I blocked Jenny and the other ones and don't really care to ask for explanations of their side of the story. I also wanted to thank all of you. At the time I really started questioning my decision, but at the end I saved my relationship and I lost dead weight. Commodore says, wow, congratulations on your decision to leave and for honoring your husband and your marriage. Stay strong, and if you can, tell Jenny's husband that he will avoid much more pain and embarrassment by separating from her. OP says my fiance told him to come stay with us if he wanted, but he said he'd deal with it as fast as he can and make a decision. But I agree. It's never good for the kids to stay together just for the kids. Lydry says that's an insane downfall for your ex-BFF. That's very unfortunate to lose a good friend, but all of this is her undoing. At least you got a good man who was completely understandable about the whole situation. OP replies saying, he is very loving and supportive. I really am lucky to have him in my life. Grumpy G says, see, I told my friends I don't want a stripper. I just want to drink, laugh, and have fun with them. They did that exactly. That is what real friends do. You did the right thing. You were honest with your partner. You stood for yourself and your values. And I wish you a wonderful wedding and marriage. But now I'm going to turn this one straight to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from Remarkable Goal 5143, and it says, am I the arsehole ending a long-term relationship after being left out of a work event? I, 26 female, was with my boyfriend, 28 male, for 4 years. We built a life together, met each other's families. We even worked on moving in together once my lease was up and talked seriously about the future. Lately though, things hadn't been great. The relationship had been rocky for a while and communication was off. There was distance and I often felt like I was doing most of the emotional work. Even so, I stayed and tried to fix it because 4 years felt like something worth fighting for. He told me he had a work dinner and said it was employees only. I didn't question it since usually these company functions encourage bringing partners. I've been trying to keep the peace lately instead of creating more tension between us. The next day, I saw a post on Instagram from a coworker of his. Like I said, his company is very family orientated and usually encourages partners to attend events like this. Her post mentioned that partners were welcome and he was in multiple photos sitting right next to her, looking very comfortable together. What made it worse was that people in his office openly call her his work wife. I'd heard him mention that before and it had always bothered me, but he brushed it off as a harmless office joke. Seeing her post him like that, knowing people already framed them that way, made me feel sick. That's when it clicked that he hadn't been honest with me. When I asked him about it, he said he didn't think it was a big deal and that he didn't want things to be awkward because we aren't married. After 4 years together, that explanation felt like a punch in the gut. It made me feel like I wasn't someone he wanted to openly claim in his life. I also asked why he spent the night sitting with her and why she was comfortable enough to post him online, especially with the work-wife dynamic. He got defensive and said I was overreacting and that she's just a co-worker. But at this point, it wasn't just about the party. It felt like the final straw in a long line of moments where I felt pushed to the side. I just shut down and told him I was done. I was going to spend the night at his place, but I just packed my stuff and left. It's been a few days and some of his friends have texted me saying I'm blowing things out of proportion for ending things over this, which I've ignored, and he keeps on calling, leaving voicemails and texts saying he's really sorry and wants to talk. I don't know anymore. Like we spent so much time together and maybe it was actually a lapse in judgment and I was being rash. Am I the arsehole? All sorts of red flags in this situation, right? Excluding you from a partner's welcome event, sat with his, air quotes, I hate this one, work wife, all night and then called you dramatic when you had some sort of feelings about it. After 4 years, he said bringing you would be awkward because you're not married. I think he's showing you exactly where you stood and you simply have had enough of it. OK Stable said to the OP, he had a date to the party, it wasn't you, time to move on, not the arsehole. Another commenter says, my boyfriend, now husband, brought me to a work dinner after only 1 month of dating. It's not weird at all to bring a significant other if you aren't married yet. He either doesn't want other people in his life to know you, or he wanted to spend time with someone else at that dinner. Move on. Chloe says to the OP, not the arsehole. Who knows if this is the first time he's done this or just the first time he got caught. There is no good intention reason why you are not invited. He simply wanted to go without you. Why is he blabbing to his friends and why are they harassing you? Because he's a liar who got caught. Now he'll play lovey-dovey to get you back and then he'll do it again. Do not give any more of your precious time and energy to a man who does not respect you, lies to you, and is not pulling his weight in the relationship. He also apparently has no compunction about bad-mouthing you to his friends. This guy is a selfish rat. Get him out of your life ASAP. You deserve a man who adores you. Don't settle for this jackass. Please note that none of this is a reflection on you. The slimy behavior is 100% your ex's lack of character and his burden to bear. Artistic says, here's how dating works. You meet someone, you decide if you want to get to know them better or not. If you do, you date for a while and decide if you want to have this person in your life. If you do, you date exclusively some more and decide if you want something long-term with this person. If you do, you move on from dating and starting a long-term relationship of one kind or another. Think about how much of your life you're willing to spend with someone who thinks this is acceptable, whether or not he gets caught. Not the arsehole. Do yourself a favor and move on. Think Fig says it sounds like he wants you to be the bad guy and break up with him. Sometimes people just do things to drive their partners away. They usually avoid getting caught cheating because then they would be the bad guy. He also might just have a big crush on the work wife. He may have realized she's not truly interested in him. Now he wants you back. It's a big deal that he lied about it being employees only. There's nothing awkward about a long-term girlfriend coming with you to events. My husband and I went to each other's work events when we'd been dating less than a year. You aren't some chick he met on Tinder yesterday. Buyer says he's having an affair with his work wife. That is why things are off and you noticed it and felt it. Yeah, it sucks he is a liar. He lied you to your face and gaslighted you. Playing things off and going to his work event as his work wife's date. She was excited about it and posted it for the world to see, but was so stupid she forgot about you. Or did she? I bet she might have wanted you to see it. Does the work wife have a boyfriend? Bet she does not, and your boyfriend would not leave you for her. So now you called him out and his bluff. You're done. Proud of you. It's the only way a guy will see it they lost you. No gaslighting works now. He lost. He looks like shit and people know who he is. If you do sit down and talk with him, tell him he has to be 100% honest, no bullshit, and tell you how long the affair is going on, and if he was seeing anyone else in the last 4 years you dated. This is his one and only chance to come clean. Right now he has blown up all your trust and respect, and that is hard if not impossible to get back. I doubt he has the balls to do it. Be honest, that was a horrible thing to do to not take you to this event. Actions speak louder than words. So at some point later, OP did come back in with an update. And they said, well, everyone in the comments was right. I honestly wanted to believe it was just a stupid lapse in judgment, or that I'd made a rash decision after months of feeling unloved. But no, there really was something going on with a co-worker. 2 days after my original post, we had set up logistics for picking up the rest of my stuff from his apartment. He was still begging non-stop calls, long voicemails, paragraphs about how he never meant to hurt me and nothing was going on. My best friend came with me when I grabbed the last of my things, and even then he was still trying to convince me to talk, to hear him out, to give him another chance. He looked panicked, which honestly made me second guess myself for half a second. But fast forward to now, just a few days later, and guess who posted what on Instagram? The co-worker. The work wife. The one he swore was just a co-worker. She made a whole soft launch style post about how it's so lovely being partners in and out of the office. Full photos, them together, smiling, comfortable, very, very not new. So yeah, it wasn't in my head. It wasn't an overreaction, and it definitely wasn't just work. I'm hurt, but I'm also weirdly relieved. Everything makes sense now. The distance, the defensiveness, the lies over something as dumb as a company dinner. I didn't blow up a good relationship. I walked away from a man who already checked out and didn't have the respect or backbone to admit it. Blocking him was the easiest thing I've done in months. Thanks to everyone who told me I wasn't crazy. You were right, and honestly, I'm glad I trusted myself. The top commenter on the back of this one said to OP, honestly, you're so much better off finding someone who values you now. Such a piece of shit guy, honestly. Glad to know that you're dealing as well as you can with a situation like this. Quiet Hamster says me being petty would have commented on her story, asking why he was trying to get back with you when he was clearly with her. Dragon says, so you still got those voicemails or texts of him begging to reconcile. Sure would be a shame if a few ended up posted, showing the timestamps. Such a shame it would be. And one more comment from Nurse Penguin who says, yeah, sounds like he was trying to keep two women in his life by splitting things into two worlds, work and home. He had everything just the way he wanted it until you realized you were sharing him with another woman. He begged you to stay because he wanted to keep it that way, and likely got together with her when he realized you were done with him. My petty ass would have forwarded those messages to her so she knows she was his second choice. And I do enjoy the petty stuff about this kind of thing. But also, I think, as they always say in stories like this, living well is always the best kind of revenge. And you will learn from this. You will find someone better than this because you simply deserve that at the same time. But what do you guys make of this situation? How would you deal with it if it was you? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, it's absolutely amazing. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.